Alrighty, we are continuing on with fractions. I don't know if you get that joke, but I think it's really funny. We are going to be working on multiplying fractions here instead of adding and subtracting. So the biggest key with multiplying fractions is you do not need a common denominator. If you get a common denominator, you can still get the right answer, but it'll be a lot more difficult for you to do so. So in these problems here, when we're multiplying fractions, we're simply going to multiply across the numerators and across the denominators. So in this one, we get 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, and 4 times 5 is just 20. And now we simplify it just like we did before. We'll divide the top and the bottom by 2, and get negative 3 over 10. And we're done. That's it. Now here on the bottom, we have a problem. This is a fraction. Oh, my pen's not working here. This is a fraction, but this is not. Well, if we know the number 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. So now we have two fractions. We can multiply just like we did before. Negative 16 over 10 becomes negative 8 over 5. You could be done there. If you wanted an improper fraction, it would be negative 1 3/5. Okay, it's important when we're turning these with negatives, mixed numbers with negatives, you have to do 1 times 5 plus 3, and then you do the negative last. A lot of times people will do negative 1 times 5 plus 3, which will give them a wrong answer. So always ignore that negative till the very end. Try these two on your own. This one ends up being negative 9 over 4, or negative 2 1/4. The one on the bottom ends up being negative 8 over negative 3. Now it's important here, this is not done. It would end up being 8/3. If you have two negatives in a problem, you want to simplify them out, make them go away. This could also be 2 2/3. Okay. Mixed numbers, just like we did before. We have to turn them into improper fractions and then multiply. So this is 5 over 2. And this, once again, I was talking about, you got to do that negative last. So it ends up being 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10/3 with a negative right there. So it gives us negative 50 over 6, which is negative 25 over 3. Bottom, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13 over 3. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 5 is 17 over 6. It's also a negative. Well, we have to do 13 times 17 here. So that's 21, 9, 3 and 1. 221. So 221 over 18. And trying to think if we can simplify this. I do not think we can. I can check here. Nope, that is the final answer. All right. Try these on your own. All right, let's see what we got here. So this becomes negative 3 over 2, 11 over 3, negative 33 over 6, which can be simplified into negative 11 over 2. The bottom, that ends up being 29 over 7, and negative 10 over 4. So it becomes negative 290 over 28, negative 145 over 14. And that should be the final answer. All right, if you have questions on these, make sure you ask me. Mr. Schmidt decides that he wants to make cupcakes for his 7th graders. If each cupcake is supposed to have a third of a Snickers bar on top of it, how many Snickers bars does he need to buy to make 29 cupcakes? So, each cupcake will have 1/3 of a Snickers bar. So that means that there will be 3 cupcakes for 1 Snickers bar like that. So I'm going to cross out the junk. So I get 1/3 and 29 cupcakes. So all of a sudden that really long problem is broken down pretty far. So I'm just going to go 1/3 times 29 over 1, which gives me 29 over 3. And now in this case, a decimal is going to make more sense. So I'm going to go 29 divided by 3. And that gives me 9.67. Okay, well, I can't buy 9 2/3 of a cupcake. So that means I'm going to have to buy an extra, Snickers bar. So that means I'm going to have to buy an extra one and come up with 10 Snickers bars. Try this one on your own. This one you should end up doing 8 over 1 times 3 over 4, which gives me 24 over 4, which is 6 hours. All right, the assignment is posted on the website.